You can send in your questions to askpvquestions@gmail.com. Tori Williams sent in a question saying, can you do a video basically convincing me of why I should be a leftist? Now, for me, the reason why I would say, being a leftist and being a liberal is essentially interchangeable, but they can be a little bit different. But the reason I think that you should be a leftist is because essentially what, for me at least, the main reason of being a leftist is I want to embetter the lives of other people. So that is what I would probably call the central goal, or the central kind of theme, message, whatever you want to call it, of my ideology of, being a leftist or a liberal or whatever. I want to embetter the lives of other people. I want to help other people. So I want to get more people in the United States healthcare. I want them not to die from, some kind of illness that they get that they can't pay for, or if they do somehow end up getting the treatment, they go bankrupt and live their lives in misery due to this kind of financial misery that they go through. I don't want people to go through starvation. I don't want people to work 40 hours a week and not be able to live. That's probably the worst, because you're working your ass off, but yet you can't even live. I don't want these things to occur. I'm trying to better those lives of those people, because that's this kind of moral kind of calling, I guess you could say, that I have, that I want to embetter the lives of other people. So I would say that that's kind of the central goal and the central idea of my ideology. However, I would also say this, that it's clear that through, Democratic presidents, and while granted, yes, basically the last Democratic presidents like Bill Clinton and Obama have been corporatists, no doubt. However, they're more left-wing than Republicans, we'll put it that way. Maybe not all that much, but they are at least somewhat, right? It's very clear that jobs and private sector jobs, public sector jobs, debt, they've all done better. Debt has been lower, or deficits, I should say. Deficits have been lower under the past two Democratic presidents. Of course, Bill Clinton brought us a surplus, and then Barack Obama brought it down from $1.1 trillion deficit down to $400 billion, which is a massive cut. Now, there are massive more gains in the private sector in terms of jobs under Bill Clinton and Barack Obama, and there are all kinds of different things that have become better. There's all kinds of different statistics and facts you can look up, and I've laid them out in some other videos that you can check out. But what essentially my goal is to embetter the lives of, I want to advocate for policies that help people's lives improve, people's lives become better. I want to help people have a better life, and that's kind of why I would say that you should be a leftist. And a secularist is a big one as well, and there are different things like that where it comes to free speech that's very important, and the Fourth Amendment that's very important, due process and things like that. So there are multiple things like that are very important, but getting healthcare is probably my number. If you were to ask me what is the biggest policy position or some kind of a move that you would like to see happen, I would like to personally see a single-payer healthcare system implemented into the United States. Now, whether or not it should be a UK form or a Canadian form or a Germanic form is a whole different discussion, because there's multiple types of single-payer, right? So that's a whole other discussion, and I don't even have a decision on which one is the best of those. However, any single-payer plan that we could put in would be better than the current system that we have today, because 45,000 people die every year because they lack access to basic health insurance. Debt, student loan debt is a huge thing as well. We want to make it so that essentially lives become better and people can be more productive in their lives. And also another thing, it's very clear that all around the world, the countries that consistently, every single year, in happiness level, economic records, all kinds of different things, right? It's very, very clear that social democracies perform the best, putting basically a floor for everybody, saying, okay, you can't do worse than this. There should be no one in the country starving, especially in this country where, Jeff Bezos' net worth is over $100 billion. that should not be a thing. There should be no one dying of starvation or starving at all. There should be no, mass hunger in the United States. There shouldn't be mass poverty when the net worth of Jeff Bezos is over $100 billion. So the social democracies perform the best because you essentially you still have the incentive to work, but there's always a floor where, okay, we're going to make sure that your life never gets to this point of bad. So you should be a leftist because it's very clear that social democracy, I want to specifically say that social democracy is the form of government that I believe is the best. Obviously, communism is not good at all, and full-on socialism is not good at all either. But social democracies in which there's capitalism essentially with the heavy-ass welfare state. So social democracies perform the best. It's clear that left-wing presidents in the United States perform the best in terms of economics. And it's very, again, it's kind of a moral calling that I'm sure a lot of you guys have, in which we want to better the lives of other people around us.